Okay, who's next?
Tech deal.
Okay, let's roll.
Alright, so this is a tech deal. This is a services company. They provide technology, engineering, consulting, some security services, things like that. Sellers in the 60s, early 60s.
A youngster, but a youngster.
Admitted slowing down a little bit. Business has been cruising along, but not really growing. Owner wants to stay on, not ready to fully retire and get out the game yet. But also said, we're looking at new areas and areas where we can grow, pursue growth. But he basically outsourced that to other people. So the past few years' revenue, I just averaged them because they're pretty much the same across the board. $13 million in revenue, throws off about $650,000 in cash, and that's all through the end of this year. And then some 2019 projections are the same, basically. $13 million in revenue, $650,000 in cash is what they're looking at. While speaking with the seller on the phone, did say that his accountant said you can expect a valuation of about $2 to $2.3 or so million for the company. I then quickly did a calculation in my head based off of the net income that he said, and I said, all right, that seems to fit within what we're looking for in the 2 to 4, 3 to 5 type EBITDA, in this case, net income range. Took the financials, showed him the CFO. I said, what would you pay for this? Just looking at the numbers, face value. He said 3 to 3.5 times EBITDA, comes to about $2 million plus or minus 100,000.
They're in the ballpark.
Yes. So as soon as I got that confirmation, I said, all right, we're on the same
But he went to the CFO to get the confirmation. Okay, Marcus doesn't need to go to a CFO. He can do the confirmation. I don't need to go to the CFO. But that's why you're using these people. Okay, go ahead.
All right. We're talking net income when you're dealing with a business services oriented. There's no hard assets, there's no depreciation, amortization, things of that nature. So the rule of thumb calculation about 1.5 times net income doesn't necessarily equal your EBITDA in this case. It's really just a difference of what your tax bracket is, what you're paying taxes. In this case, it's 25 or 28%, something like that. Typical. Bank
So it's
parameters.
1.25 times.
Yes.
Okay.
So lending parameters, generally the same across the board, up to 5 times. Some of the bigger banks, you got bigger deals, they'll go up to 6 or so, but they're talking in terms of, we want to put $7, $8, $10 million to work. So this is attractive for the small banks. We sent the numbers out to 3 banks and we sent out to 3 more. One came back right before coming here. So based on that purchase price of $2 million, they want to see 10% equity for financing, of course. A loan would be $1.8 million. The term of the loan that they offered, 5 years, interest only, unsecured.
Unsecured.
Yes.
Sounds pretty good so far. Does everybody see that it sounds pretty good so far?
The silence.
Yeah. Hey, go ahead.
Working capital 20%, and line of credit for $1 million.
Fuck.
I
jump on this bitch.
This bank is great.
I
love this bank called again.
They've had to wipe the saliva off.
Yeah, you gotta like this.
Discounted cash flow, or not debt service coverage ratio, based on the numbers, was about 1.25 according to the bank. They didn't tell me the interest rate, they just gave me the numbers. So plugging in some numbers, 5-6% interest rate seems to be what this is going to be at. I didn't care because their cash flow covers debt service.
Correct.
And then the
Unsecured. I'm still bringing in my left ear.
and debt to EBITDA ratio is 2.7. Anything below 3 is good. So we're good there.
So what's the next step?
Call the seller up.
Close it.
Yeah.
Just close it.
Now, does everybody see that this is nothing's perfect, but it's very good?
And the other thing with Peña is so good in this deal, and we were talking about this yesterday, that the EBITDA is pretty low. If you think about it. And on a $13 million revenue, how much is the EBITDA we calculate? 5%?
Average is 5%. The gross margins are, I think, average is 12%.
Yeah, so gross margin 12%, EBITDA 5%. As you say, this is take the money and run in the night.
Run like a thief in the night.
I mean, there's no discussion.
Yeah, see, and when you do, and you look at enough deals and you do enough deals, this happens. But don't, well, why is it happening? Just do it.
Would it be good for, or the next step, while talking to the seller, would it be also good to take a term sheet from the bank? Pending the deal with the bank, get it in writing from the bank?
Yeah.
Because it's such a sweet deal, get a term sheet from the bank while you're talking to the seller.
You show
Do that.
Right? You just show them, be like, hey, look, I got the money. All right, I'm getting
And
it.
show it to the board, show it to the seller,
Right.
I won't hold it.
Don't put it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Don't put it, I mean, but I mean, this is the sweet,
Run and sign the deal.
Yeah, just run and sign the deal. And when I say, and don't give me a bunch of YouTube shit, like, when I say run like a thief in the night, that doesn't mean because we're stealing and we're not really, it's a term that you use. But you run like a thief in the night, I mean, and get the deal closed up. But I mean, you know, and this came from what, a cold call or what?
Cold call.
Oh, my other ear's ringing now. Unsecured cold call. I mean, I'm going crazy. Call 999, get the paramedics.
If a broker got involved, and thankfully in our technology deal, there are not too many brokers.
Good.
That's the good thing, because they don't figure it out, they don't understand it. But look at the deals in the West Bank, how it gets bumped up, because of the broker involved.
Absolutely.
And this is the United States.
What is that? You should take
Don't narrow it down more than the United
You should
States.
take a flight.
Eastern United States. Yes, okay, that's close enough.
When you're screening these deals, Mr. Peña, you see it, okay, looks good. What else would you consider? Show me last year's. Let me look one more time. In case it's too good to be true. What would you?
He's got 3 years.
He's got 3 years, yeah.
Good enough.
2019 was also the same.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, that's why you have projected too.
yeah, I mean, this is, I mean, even our banker.
This is a bread and butter deal.
Our wellness doctor, everybody gets this one, you know, everybody gets this one, and that happens, and when you do a few of these, you become jaded to expect, and then it's easier for you to slam the phone, metaphorically speaking, it's easier for you to slam the phone down on the pricks that trying to make your life hard, because you know they're out there, these deals, and they are.
Alex, a question, is that working capital 20% of
Purchase price.
So, but why wouldn't they give you a percentage of revenue?
Because you didn't ask.
Actually, I wrote that down wrong.
It's 20% of revenue or?
It should be a percentage of revenue.
20%?
They're not sorry, I'm thinking line of credit. What was your question about working capital?
I'm saying working capital or line of credit, whatever, it should be a percentage of revenue. So I can understand 1 million because your revenue is 13 million, so 10% of that is 1.3 million. But again, you should be very happy because the cash flow, because your EBITDA is low, if they give you 10% of the 13 million, that's pretty cool. But is the working capital inside the line of credit, or is that outside of?
They offered the line of credit, and in addition, I asked for working capital.
You don't ask?
You don't get.
Hence unsecured.
And now I'm
Unsecured.
asking for working capital and the line of credit.
But you gotta be mindful about being able
for.
to service it. So you're asking for a lot of money.
This is what they came back with after putting this in it.
With the 5% EBITDA?
Yeah. We actually just ran the numbers before. That's why I said I ran the numbers, and
That's a lot of money.
the interest rate would have to be no more than 6%.
6% interest rate, and you're talking about how much are you borrowing then?
This is on a 1.8 million loan.
1.8 and 1 is 2.8, and then you're talking about 20% on purchase price, so 400,000. So 3.2
So
million.
the loan, so this might go down to 1.2, and
No,
the-
your
the
total
full-
borrowing
the
is
full loan
3.2
would
million.
be,
How much is
2.2.
EBITDA? How much is EBITDA again?
EBITDA is
650,000.
180 is for interest rate.
So 3.2 million you're borrowing, right?
No, it will be 2.2.
1.8.
It's less, it's 130.
1.8%. Oh, line of credit you're not taking.
Well,
it,
if
you're
I'm
gonna
asking
like-
for 20% of the purchase price, this is gonna be 400,000.
So 2.2.
So 400,000 plus this is gonna put me at $2.2 million.
2.2 million.
That does not include in this.
No, line of credit is as you use it.
Yeah.
So you're not borrowing it everything.
So if you put all together, it's about 180 interest rates. If you use
Oh.
the 100% of the line of credit.
Okay, yeah.
You can completely
No,
pay
no,
off the
that
seller
matters,
with the
good.
line of credit.
Correct.
It's a sweet
Say, this wouldn't happen in London. It'd be dealing with somebody like you, so I mean, this wouldn't happen in London. But it does happen. It does happen. Unsecured cold call.
Is there a particular reason why they were comfortable with an unsecured loan?
Because he wasn't a wellness doctor. He wasn't a wellness doctor. And he wasn't the,
And second, the deal is good.
yeah, and any questions other than, jump on it like a thief in the night?
Alex, how old's the company again?
20 plus years, been around a while.
That's probably something to do with the unsecured part as well. You have a tenured company like that.
Yeah, customer base has been around for a very long time, 15 plus years or something like that.
And plus they're trying to penetrate into the public sector spaces.
Now, this is all the analysis we gotta do. Let's not analyze it, in spreadsheet it to death, and then the fucking banker dies, retires, has a fucking stroke or something, I mean,
That is what I was saying, get a term sheet.
yeah.
So you have it in.
Yeah,
I'll do that.
The guy retires, gets fired, dies of a heart attack, you've got something.
Okay,
How enforceable is the term sheet if it is issued and then the guy just?
well, the term sheet's gonna have a time limit, okay? This is good for 7 days, 14 days, 30 days, whatever. And then at the bottom of the most term sheet, other than some, act of, act of God or something,
Material adverse change.
Yeah,
like that.
the world has changed, something happened. But they're pretty enforceable. The bigger banks, they're pretty much ironclad. The smaller banks, I've seen them wiggle off. But, if it's a regular bank, and if it's a government or operated bank, not government operated, but it operates under FDIC and those kinds of regulatory bodies, then it's pretty enforceable. It's pretty enforceable, and the
And government institutions can go up to 10 days.
and now I don't. Some of the guys take term sheets and then they go shop around to other banks to try to get. Just use it and get it done. Because if a bank finds out that you're taking the term sheet and shopping around, then there's normally a clause that they can withdraw the term sheet. And and that's what I've experienced with brokers, that they shop the deals around. And even though you make an offer, they'll take your offer and they'll take it to somebody else to try to get a higher price, extract a higher price, or different kind of financing with, they get paid something on, which they're not supposed to by law, but a lot of people do it. Yeah. So we all understand it's a good deal, it's a great deal, you should do it right away. Any questions? No? No. Okay, very good. Excellent. That's better than excellent, actually. But the unsecured, it does happen. And it came from a cold call. And there's no broker involved. And so he's dealing directly with the motivated seller, which makes life a lot simpler. For those of you that have gone through brokers, you realize how unattractive that situation is. But as Marcus said, they can be a conduit, an additional conduit, but you can't just 100% broker oriented. Otherwise, you're dealing with this same rat shit that we've gone through time and time again, where most brokers aren't part of the solution; they're part of the problems. And just not weekly, but monthly for sure. You guys, not you guys in particular, but the mentees, get involved in deals that they're getting jerked around, and because you're hopeful to get a deal done, even though I tell you that you're hopeful, and the hope springs eternal, and they take advantage of that emotion, and they use it to your detriment, to their positive, and they use it to bolster the relationship with the seller, who doesn't know much more than you do. If they know much more, they probably know less than you. And so the brokers try to put themselves in the power position between the potential buyers that he always or she is always saying that are out there, and the seller. Because remember, 95% of the businesses that go up for sale yearly don't sell because they're asking too much. I said 25 years ago, I could buy businesses all day long. I could queue them up 100 across and 10,000 deep between 3 and 5 times EBITDA. That was one. I believe I said that at the first seminar in May of 1993 that Bruce the Whipple attended, and you still can 3 to 5 times EBITDA. You can buy just about anything now. Tech has come in, and there's a lot of things that sell for higher than that. But bricks and mortar in most businesses, you can buy for 3 to 5 times EBITDA. It's that simple. It's that simple.
With the brokers, you do get the chance to negotiate with the owner, or is it just the brokers that?
Well, the broker's not going to want to allow you access to the owner until you make an offer.
Okay.
Until you make an offer, and that's why you've heard it already, that they, like with Jeremy, they want him to make an offer based on only partial information. Right. And then on that partial information, normally the offers are going to be high. Not normally, almost always going to be high, because the information that you really know to knock the offer down, they're not giving you. They're not giving you, and it's tough to win a poker game when you're playing with 3 cards and they're playing with 5 cards. Okay, you do.